Hey there, good evening. Just a couple of minutes late this evening. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I fell asleep on the couch, nana nap. It's the heat. And I know I said on my personal page that I was going to do this from a bath filled with ice water, and I really wish I was in there right now. So that's resilience. If ever I heard, saw it and felt it, believe me. So good evening. Anyway, I hope you're really well. How hot has it been today? Really hot. Not that I'm complaining, because it's much better than the rain. Sometimes it's much better than the rain. It's really hard when you're working in your office and it's this hot, and you've got a big, hot, sweaty black dog at the side of you as well. So, yeah, that's been fun today. Anyway, I'm just chittering on here. A note to self last week: do not have a naked lady behind you when you do your lives, Mandy, because Facebook won't allow you to do anything with it. So I've got a different picture behind me tonight, my latest one. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Mandy Nicholson, and I am an artist, an author, and a creative genius consultant, and I help innovative female entrepreneurs to launch, grow, and leverage their creative business and make more money. That is my soul's purpose, my passion business. And there is lots more coming as well as that in this next year. It's a very exciting year. But tonight, I want to talk to you all about resilience. I introduced last week an aria for August, my aria for August. And last week I talked about abundance and how to manifest it and create it in your life and how to think abundantly. Well, tonight I want to talk about resilience because, hi, Gwen, just saw you pop up there. Hello. Resilience in life. Now, there are a million examples I could give you of why building up your resilience is so important to you in life, and particularly in business. Because your ability to, you're watching me live on Twitter, yay. I don't know whether it'll last for the whole time, Gwen, but I'm trying it out tonight. So this platform that I use goes live in 5 different places at the same time. So I'm just everywhere, right? And it saves so much time when you just go live on every single platform. So it's awesome. So resilience, let me get back. And I do get distracted when people pop up because I am a sociable person, and I like to speak to everybody. Why is resilience so important to us? So important. So important. Because it's our ability. I described in my post, I think yesterday on social media, that I like to think of myself as elastic. That sort of resilience, the ability to bounce back into shape no matter what happens, and the ability to keep going. Hi there, Anastasia. The keep going no matter what, because life is going to throw things at you consistently. There is never, it's funny because I was having a conversation last week with somebody about, I wish somebody had said to me, I wish I could just have a good week. And to be honest, I don't think that happens to anybody ever. There's always something coming up in life, whether it's a bad news via your post or an email that knocks you back, or behavior of somebody or a family member in your life that has an impact on you that then causes you to be emotionally imbalanced. Because that's what happens in life, isn't it? Things happen and it impacts on us in an emotional way. We react emotionally. Now, we react emotionally because of our thought processes, and our thought processes are hardwired into us from experience in life. So it's an inbuilt system. It's called the reticular activating system, and it's part of your brain that's hardwired to react in a certain way when something happens. So if you've had things happen to you in life, and it could be even when you're really young, it's like a computer in your head. It's stored memories, and it's stored memories that are attached to emotions. And it's about how you instantly react to something when it happens. And your ability to get past that is your resilience. And you build up that resilience by rewiring your thought process, if that makes sense to you. So your life is trucking along quite nicely, something happens, and how you react to it is about how resilient you are. Now, I'm normally use, when I'm talking about resilience, the example of my series of unfortunate events that I wrote about in my book. But tonight, I want to talk to you about this year, 2020, and how the resilience from that time that I built up, which was how I overcame that series of unfortunate events that happened to me, and how I dealt with that, and the way that I dealt with it prepared me for the unfortunate things that have happened in 2020, and how that has enabled me to keep going despite what can be really severe emotional reactions to life. So if you don't know about my series of unfortunate events that happened to me 11 years ago, then you can buy my book, The Life I Won, which is available on Amazon. And that tells the story of how I lost everything. I went from having this really successful life to losing everything. And I've rebuilt that over the last 10 years. Now, you kind of think, don't you, when something like that happens, that you lose everything and then you rebuild things. You think that, it's almost like a fairy tale, isn't it? That, you've rebuilt it, you've been really successful, you've bought your house for cash, you're trucking along nicely. God, isn't Mandy lucky she's got this wonderful life? But then I had to face the worst thing that I've ever had to face in my entire life, and that was losing my soulmate. Losing the man that I really genuinely loved more than anybody I've ever met, and watching him die for the last year, and then losing him on the 29th of April this year. If I hadn't built up my resilience over the last 11 years by rebuilding my life, despite everything, adversity and all the things that had happened to me, then I would not have been able to cope with what happened this year when I lost my husband. So the building bricks of my resilience came from my reaction to that series of unfortunate events, one thing after another over 12 months. So I want you to think about the things that have happened to you in life. So I'm sure that you've had losses, that you've lost people that you love. I'm sure that you've maybe done something at work and been disciplined, or lost a job, or being bullied, or something's happened to you that's had an impact on you, because none of us have the perfect life. And if you're still standing today, then you're resilient. You have the ability to bounce back. You have this elasticity in your psyche, in your wiring, in your brain, this ability to think in a way that gets you past problems. When you focus on that and you make it something that you work on all the time, not just something that happened to you, but something that you work on in order to keep you moving forward all of the time, no matter what happens, then you build up this ability to be able to deal with anything. You can bounce back from anything if you've bounced back from one thing. It's actually remembering and focusing on how you bounced back rather than the pain of what happened to you. And that's where we sometimes get lost in life and in business. And it can be really difficult in business if money is not coming in and sales are not happening and you are feeling very stressed and things are not going right for you. It's really hard to be resilient. Or you get people requesting refunds or complaints coming in about things within your business. It's personal to you and it can be really difficult. I've just got an update that you probably can't see. I hate that when they pop up on your screen when you're in the middle of a live. It can be really difficult when things are happening in your business that are out of your control. And I think there's a lot of that happening at the minute. And I want to talk about that because of lockdown and because of where the situation we're in at the minute. I think people are less tolerant with anything, including where they've spent money. People have really lost their tolerance. They have been locked in their houses for months on end. They've been without work. They've been furloughed. It's been difficult in their business if they're self-employed. It's been a really tough time. So that eats away at your ability to bounce back, because you lose sight of the positive vision, the hope that's normally there, and your ability to pull on and source at the previous experiences where you have dealt with adversity, because everything seems a bit doom and gloom. But it is all about your thinking. So resilience comes from knowing exactly where you're going, having really strong goals about moving forward, and about identifying how you've done that in the past. So one of the things that I do on a regular basis, and I do it with my clients, and I'm sure they'll stick their hands up and agree with this, is that I look at wins and successes on a weekly basis. And I mean a weekly basis, every single week. What was successful in the last week? What did I do well in the last week? And I encourage my clients to do the same by asking them the wins that they've had. And when you habitually start to look at the things that you've been successful at and the things that you've done really, really well, then you start to build up resilience in a positive way. When you stop looking at the things that you've done wrong and staying in that energy and staying in that moment, you are able to move into more positive energy. So for me, resilience starts with letting go of the past and forgiving everybody and everything. And this is always the foundation that I bring you back to in virtually every training that I do and every single live that I do. When you can let go of the past, let go of your failures, let go of the people that have wronged you, the people that have made you feel bad, and you can forgive them, and you can live in the moment, being grateful for what you currently have, you have a better ability to move forward and you become more resilient. So how are you going to do that? One of the things that I use on a regular, again, with my clients, is to sit down and actually think about who it is. What is it that you're holding on to? We've all got something that we hold on to that we find difficult to forgive somebody for. Even if it's difficult to forgive ourselves, it could be an ex-spouse or partner who really did wrong you, treated you really, really badly, and you are on your own now, or you're in another relationship, but there's still bitterness for that person. And where you have bitterness or an inability to move past that, it actually impacts you in every single area of your life. It can have a physical impact on you. It most certainly has an impact on your thought patterns. And you are in control of your thoughts. They're not in control of you. They have millions of them. You get millions and billions of thoughts in a day, both positive and negative. Now, if you focus on feeling those feelings of bitterness and reminding, because they become thoughts, they become things that run around in that hardwired computer that you've got in your head and constantly keep you in a negative vibration. When you can let go of those, your vibration raises instantly. And you start to build up this elasticity and resilience that will serve you going forward, no matter what happens to you. So that's what happened to me. I built up this resilience through this series of unfortunate events that happened to me, this ability to bounce back, the ability to go, right, okay, that's just another thing. And I got over the last thing, so I can get over this thing. Let's move forward and put that in the past. There's nothing I can do about it. It's in the past. Because even what I said to you a minute ago is in the past. It's gone forever. And it doesn't matter anymore. What I'm saying to you right now is, if you can say, right, okay, life is good where it is right now. And my job is to say life is good where it is right now, and then move it forward and onwards and upwards. And that is my responsibility, nobody else's responsibility. Then you are building that elasticity and that resilience to life and resilience in business. So COVID hit, and we were put into lockdown. My husband got sick. He went into hospital. He was in hospital for a month. I couldn't visit him, which was terribly upsetting and emotional. And throughout that, I have still built my business and kept moving forward because it was out of my control. There was nothing I could do about it. There was no point in holding myself in negative energy or dropping my vibration because something that was happening was out of my control. I have learned the resilience to say, okay, this is happening. I don't feel good about it, but it does not have to dictate how I behave, how I react in my business, and how I react in my life. Now, that takes some real work, ladies and gents. It takes some real, it doesn't come easy to anybody to do that. It takes some work. And sometimes it takes some work with another person in order for you to be able to get through that. Now, over the years, I have worked with many mentors, many different people. I've sought out different people at different times of my life that have fulfilled the need that I had at that time to help me to build my resilience up and to help me to continue to move forward. Because when these difficult things hit, sometimes it's really hard to move past it on your own. Now, that can be your network of people around you, but believe me, here's some honest, really honest feedback for you. Your friends and family don't have time to adopt you as a project. They don't want to. They've got their own lives to think about. That's not going to work for you. It's not going to make any difference. I have tried so many times in my life to help my sister, but A, it's not my job. And B, I'm too close to her and too connected emotionally to have a major impact. When you want to move forward and when you want to build up your resilience, one of the key things that I would always say to anybody that you need to consider doing is to get the correct help from somebody that you resonate with that can help you past that. So that becomes your job, and that became my job over the last 10, 11 years. And I've invested in myself. I see myself as my biggest asset. So why wouldn't I build my resilience up? What's up here and my ability to do what I do is the biggest asset that I have in my life. It's not my house. It's not my car. It's not my savings. It's up here, because if I lose all of that, again, for whatever reason, the only asset that remains, I've got a hi, Facebook user, I can't see your name, but hi, nice to have you. The only asset that remains, no matter what I lose, no matter what happens in life, is this: my ability to think, my ability to plan, my ability to get myself back out of whatever hole I end up in. Yeah, and obviously, I hope I don't ever end up in a hole, but none of us know what's going to happen. I've learned that in life. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And that is how I have enabled myself. And I have enabled myself because I've invested in myself. I have enabled myself to build up a really strong resilience to anything, this elasticity. I'm just a big elastic band that pings back every time, no matter what. So was it hard when my husband died? It was absolutely excruciatingly painful. And I wish I could have just ripped that out of me and taken it away. But I couldn't. It was another thing that happened. And the resilience that I built up enabled me to bounce back and face life head on and actually take action to move me forward. So that's the biggest thing to do when you're looking at this area in life, is to take action. And we're going to move into action in week 4. So I'm not going to talk too much about taking action right now. Today is about building up that resilience. So my top tips there are recognize your wins. Really spend some time, get a journal out and journal your feelings and journal what you've done well. The one thing I learned when I was a store manager, that my team did not respond to me going around and pointing out things that were wrong all the time. So I invested time in finding them doing something right. And if you can find somebody doing something right and stop in that moment and say, I love what you're doing right there, It's absolutely amazing. It makes me feel really proud of you. And actually, I'd love it if you could do more of that. That works so much better for somebody else than giving them negative feedback. So imagine if you do that for yourself. Hey, Mandy, that thing that you did on Tuesday worked really, really well. Look at the results of that. Well done, you. It works really well, but we're almost programmed not to do that, because when we're at school and through all the learning establishments that we go through, generally it's the things that we get wrong, the red crosses on our marked work, the reprimands in the school ground, the disciplinaries at work. It's the things that we do wrong that are highlighted. So we are programmed to live and behave in the negative. So you can only change that by changing you. And changing you means sitting down and putting some time into recognizing what you do really well. So like I said before, I do that with my clients on my signature program every single week. I ask them to share their wins. And by asking them to share their wins, I am forcing them to think about what they've done well. And when they get into habitually thinking about what they've done well, it becomes habit. Rebecca, this is such amazing advice. Welcome the challenges, build up, and enjoy the success, because I could sit here all night telling you about everything I've done wrong in my life. But do you know what? Do you know what I did today? I survived a really hot day. I got loads of work done, so many wins to share. And it's about recognizing those wins. Have I cocked up this week? Loads of times. Do it every week. That's just human. But I don't focus on that anymore, ever. I don't ever put any energy into that. I put my energy into constantly looking for the positives, the wins, and saying them out loud and sharing them and diarizing them. They go into my journal, into my diary. And actually every month I do a full-on review of all the things that have been successful for me. And I don't review the things that went wrong. I look at the successes and then the things that I can do better. So if you can change your habits, you can build up resilience. That's what it's about. Changing your habits changes your thinking, changes your thought process, and changes how you behave and react to everything that happens in your life. So I want you to build up resilience. I want you to ping back and be able to do anything, because when you can do that, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I truly believe that this should be everybody's mantra in life. If you are consistently positive, focusing on positive things, not letting the things that go wrong become something that holds you back, then that becomes the habits of success. This is my very ethos that I work with on my signature program with my clients. And if you're interested in finding out more, there is a link in the comments, which gives you a couple of free pieces of training on nailing your niche and about strategy that I use in my business. You'll get some training in there free. You don't have to do anything but sign up. And then you can unsubscribe if you're really sick of me. So there's nothing, you're not beholden to me at all if you click the link for that. But I do that so that people can really think about this change process. I love change. Many people fear change and it's really difficult for them. And I think when you become a person that can accept that something is going to change in your life on a daily basis, something is going to change every single day. May not be a big change, it may be a really small change, but something will change today, tomorrow, the day after. When you accept that, the small changes, and you can celebrate the things that you do well when things change, then that becomes the habits, and the habit of a successful person. And how you do anything is how you do everything. So that was the message for tonight. The R in ARIA is resilience. So we've had abundance last week, we've had resilience this week, and next week I'm going to be talking to you at the same time, the same place, about intuition. And that's a bit woo-woo, but not really. So I understand that in multiple different layers, and I'm excited to talk to you about that. So if you've watched live, just let me know that you've been on and where you are in the world and whether this has been useful. And if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay, leave me some comments. I will come back to you. And it's been awesome speaking to you. I'm absolutely sweating buckets here. And I can't wait to just go and take some clothing off, but I didn't really want to do that while I was live tonight. So unfortunately, I don't want to get banned by Facebook and put in jail again. So I hope this has been useful. Maybe you want to push too hard in life. No, nobody wants to push too hard. I think if we relax into life and accept that it's just going to be what we make it, then I think we're on a winner. I think that when we can do that, we're on a winner. And that's all any of us needs to do, really, isn't it? So have a wonderful rest of the evening. I hope you're nice and cool. Go and get yourself a nice, cool alcoholic beverage and relax into the evening. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Much love and colour. Bye for now.